In this video, I'm going to make some furniture and some items based on crooked staff videos that can be attached to each other magnetically. This allows the appearance of furniture to be quickly changed so it can be reused elsewhere. The attachment isn't as strong as glue, naturally, but it does add more flexibility. I'm using a table for this example, but this can be done with anything that has a flat surface that can be made magnetic so that items can be added to it. There are a couple of videos from Crooked Staff that cover making tables, both linked below to refer to. The difference is that when the table surface is cut, it has some magnetic sheet linked below added to it. Cut some of the magnetic sheet to the same size as the table's top. Use a glue stick to attach it to the cardboard. One side of the sheet is more magnetic than the other. Make sure that side is face up. Once dry, wrap the texture around the table as normal, then add the legs, making certain the magnetic side is at the top. Just do the same with anything else that has a flat upper surface that the magnetic sheet can be attached to. The next step is to make the objects to attach magnetic. I'm going to show how to adapt some existing things and make one new one. The methods used are 3mm by 2mm small magnets and holes punched from the magnetic sheet. I'm using offcuts. Given that one side is a stronger magnet than the other, it helps to mark the weaker side, especially for the 1mm hole punch. As I'm using offcuts, that's already done. A 2mm or 3mm hole punch would be better for some things, but I have a 1mm hole punch and not the others. I'm also using a regular sized hole punch. Which is used depends on the item being made. The bigger and better the magnet, the stronger the attachment. Of those used, the small proper magnets are easily the strongest. The 1mm hole punches will need fishing out of the punch, as they're magnetic. They'll stick to the metal of the punch. I found the easiest way of getting them out was with a stack of the stronger 3mm magnets. You can also use steel in some cases. This scroll, for instance, has been wrapped around a steel wire core. The attachment isn't as strong, because scrolls roll, and this isn't magnetic, but it's there. I've cut a piece of the potion texture, following the instructions in the Books, Scrolls and Potions video, which is linked below. As well as the piece cut from the top, I cut a piece from the wider part at the bottom, about 20mm long by 2mm high. How long depends to a degree on how tight you can roll the bottles. Glue and roll the bottle as normal. The intention is to make a small pocket in the base. You may need to push the texture up slightly. Once dry, apply PVA glue to the weak side of the 1mm magnet and position it in the pocket. I'm using a pair of tweezers to make this easier. The pocket is large enough for either one or two of these 1mm magnet punches, so add two if you can, gluing them to each other to strengthen the pull. This next bit is intended to make a tankard. It's based on a video from RP Archive, linked below. First, cut a piece of metal texture, or even wood or leather, 1/2 inch wide by 5/8 inch long. In this case, I'm using a texture from the Goblins PDF, linked below. Fold it in half and then apply glue to the back. Then stick it together to make it 1/4 inch high. I'm only gluing enough for one at a time because once the glue dries, these become a lot less flexible. Wrap it around a stack of the 3mm magnets. Make note of where it overlaps, add glue to that bit and stick it together. This is very fiddly. It doesn't matter if some white paper is visible, as you will stick the handle over the join. Once the cylinder is dry, glue one of the magnets into the base using PVA glue. I'm placing the magnet on some greaseproof paper, adding PVA glue to it, placing the cylinder over the magnet, fold upwards, and swiping the magnet from the paper, making sure it's flush. The handle is made using a similar method to the urn handles from the Crypts and Tombs video from Crooked Staff. Glue another piece of the metal texture, maybe about 1 inch square, apply glue to the back and fold it over. Once it's dry, cut a strip 1/16 of an inch wide and wrap it around a cocktail stick. Apply glue to the overlapping ends and stick them together. Once dry, cut the ends off to size. Flatten the loop to make it more handle shape, and stick it to the outside of the tankard, covering the join. These techniques can be used for a lot of the small items that we placed on tables and other surfaces. Just vary the size of the magnet depending on the amount of space available to put it. This large plate from the Crypts and Tombs video, linked below, has a hole punch magnet stuck to the bottom. This small plate from the Treasure video, also linked below, has a 1mm magnet stuck to the bottom. This urn, also from Crypts and Tombs, uses one of the 3mm magnets that is stuck in the bottom with hot glue. It's easier doing this when all you have is the straw, but it can still be done afterwards. Add some hot glue to the inside of the base, add a magnet and clean off any excess. Given how fast hot glue dries, this will need doing quickly. You can use a similar method for anything else that uses a straw, such as the helmet. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe to our channel. Be sure to check out the other videos on crooked staff terrain as well.